Like, literally, no matter what, this is already a monumental failure in terms of leadership. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck, guys? Hello? These are our neighbors. These are our friends. These are it's like these are our strongest neighbors. What the fuck? Why are we in a trade war with our strongest neighbors? We have the combined largest market in the world. I'm pretty sure it's even larger than the European Union is the U.S., Mexico, Canadian market, right? Like,
welcome back, everyone. Today we've got Destiny, the streamer, having a full-on meltdown. This time in response to Donald Trump and his tariffs that he's using with Canada, with Mexico, with China as a negotiation tool. Destiny, as we all know, has terminal Trump deranged syndrome. He thinks Trump will destroy our country, but I think, and I think what most people are generally happy with the deals and negotiations being done and how its implications have played out.
Today, the United States informed us they will be imposing 25% tariffs on Canadian exports to the United States and 10% on Canadian energy. A decision that, should they elect to proceed with, should take effect on Tuesday, February 4th.
how much can Canada really hurt the United States? I think Canada, is our largest trading partner, aren't they? So quite a bit.
As neighbors,
the problem is I feel like these countries have to work together against the United States, like Canada and Mexico especially, because they're part of the same trade agreement. We're all part of this post-NAFTA U.S., Mexico, Canada trade agreement. I feel like Mexico and Canada should work together to tariff the U.S. and say, hey, listen, this is what's going to happen until you fix your shit. Because if they all try to do this unilaterally, the U.S. can win because we're bigger than any of them individually. We can probably endure more, especially with how strong the economy's been set up in the U.S., probably more than Canada can attacking us.
this is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people. As I have consistently said, tariffs against Canada will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery stores and gas at the pump. They will impede your access to an affordable supply of vital goods crucial for U.S. security, such as nickel, potash, uranium, steel,
Potash?
and
What's
aluminum.
that?
They will violate the free trade agreement that the President and I, along with our Mexican partner,
Mineral,
negotiated
fertilizer.
and signed a few years ago.
Okay. Damn.
But it doesn't have to be this way. As President John F. Kennedy said many years ago, geography has made us neighbors, history has made us friends, economics has made us partners, and necessity has made us allies. Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade actions with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods.
Damn.
This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Like the American tariffs, our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances.
The issue is that I don't know if, like, again, we're playing on different playgrounds here. There's different rules going on. Well, because I was going to say, I think MAGA will suffer. Like, I think for Democrats, if you made life worse for us, we would be like, okay, well, what the f do we need to do to change this? But if you make life worse for MAGA, they'll be like, oh, as long as they're suffering more than we are, I don't give a fuck. That's the challenge. But not all Trump supporters feel that way. You just have to discourage 1% or 2% from voting, and you basically win, I guess. So it's not like you have to convert even a double-digit percentage of them. You just have to do like 3 or 4%, and then it's over, I guess. But
Furniture and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much, much more. And as part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several...
or motivate non-MAGA voters, or motivate like independents from actually, or more Democrats, dipshitocrats from actually going out and voting, yeah.
And as part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several non-tariff measures, including some relating to critical minerals, energy, procurement, and other partnerships.
Oof.
We will stand strong for Canada. We will stand strong to ensure our countries continue to be the best neighbors in the world.
Like, literally, no matter what, this is already a monumental failure in terms of leadership. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck, guys? Hello? These are our neighbors. These are our friends. These are it's like these are our strongest neighbors. What the fuck? Why are we in a trade war with our strongest neighbors? We have the combined largest market in the world. I'm pretty sure it's even larger than the European Union is the U.S., Mexico, Canadian market, right? Like, what the fuck, guys? Please stop repeating this bullshit argument. The only rational argument I've heard is that Trump wants to get more favorable import deals from Canada and Mexico, but obviously that is the worst way to do it. It can't be that everything is on the table for every negotiation. That's not how the real world works. People don't treat you seriously when you do that. You can't go into your office with your professor arguing about your last test score, and when he's like, well, what are we going to do? How are we going to negotiate this? You want to do extra credit? And then you open your vest, you have a vest full of grenades, and you're like, I probably won't do it, but like, I'll blow this whole motherfucking building up if you won't give me 10 points on that final, dog. You can't do that. You cannot negotiate this way. This is brinksmanship of the worst degree. We're past brinksmanship now. Now we're getting retaliatory tariffs from our largest trading partner and our closest friend and dearest ally in the entire hemisphere. What the fuck?
Wow, Destiny really having a glorious meltdown right here over Donald Trump and his tariffs. I mean, I think Donald Trump has said his favorite word in the English dictionary is tariffs. This guy just absolutely loves his tariffs. Now, there are a couple of ways to look at these tariffs. Number one, Trump is trying to renegotiate a better trade deal with Canada. According to Trump right now, we have a very bad deal with Canada, and Canada needs the U.S. far more than the U.S. needs Canada. So the tariffs are part of a renegotiating tactic. But beyond that, Trump just likes tariffs in general, and for good reason. I mean, if you look back at the history of the United States, most people don't know this, but for the first roughly 150 years of the existence of the United States, there was no federal income tax. From 1776 up until the early 1900s, we didn't have any federal income tax. The federal income tax rate was 0%. Instead, the government was funded almost entirely via tariffs. I mean, tariffs brought in the vast majority of the federal government's revenue for the first 150 years of its existence. So Donald Trump says, hey, wait a minute. We had tariffs bringing in all the money. We were unbelievably rich as a nation during that period. The average person was prospering like crazy during that period. The standard of living of the average person went up like crazy during that period. Maybe we should move more in that direction of like lower taxes, lower government spending, more tariffs, and so on. So this is just part of a broader shift in the way Trump wants the government to be run. And, it's sort of a more escalated version of the plan he was doing in his first administration, where he was cutting down on regulations, lowering tax rates in general, using more tariffs, and so on. So hopefully he can get the whole shebang done and really move more in the direction of, using tariffs to fund the government over, traditional taxes and whatnot. It will be very interesting to see what he can accomplish. But anyway, very, very interesting meltdown by Destiny. He just cannot handle the fact that Trump is using tariffs and trying to renegotiate a bad deal into a good deal. So that is typical Destiny for you. So let's keep going here.
Bro, should I have sold all my shit? What are our markets going to look like? Oh my God. Trump said he's going to increase tariffs if Canada responds. What's the end game here? Who blinks first? I mean, I don't know. I feel like their governments are probably more stable than the U.S. government, but I don't know if stability is a favored trait here. I have no idea.
All right, so we'll take 20 minutes of questions, 20 minutes de questions.
Because Trump said explicitly in his tariffs, Trump literally said that he left open the possibility, not the possibility, he would raise them if they retaliated. And he knows they're going to retaliate. They have to. So I don't...
Une question, one follow-up, une question à suivre. Merci.
Bonsoir, M. le Premier ministre, Raymond Fillon de TVA. Est-ce que vous avez parlé ou tenté de parler avec le président Trump aujourd'hui ou dans les derniers jours?
Ça fait depuis l'inauguration que j'essaie de rejoindre le président. J'espère pouvoir lui parler bientôt. It's been since the inauguration that I've been reaching out to speak with Donald Trump. I hope to speak with him sometime soon.
Bonsoir, M. Trudeau. Vous avez mentionné
Someone said, have you been able to talk to Trump? And he said no, but he wishes to. Like, these are failures of leadership. Like, I said this before with that crazy, when the Office of Management and Personnel, or was it the Office of Budget Management and the executive, tried to give guidance on how to implement these crazy Trump EOs on our federal administrations, and nobody knows what the fuck to do. That's a failure in leadership. Like, how are you not communicating any of this to anybody? No one has any idea what the fuck to do right now. Like, it's an actual clown, it's a clown show. Like, even our economy, I'm so curious if our markets have priced this in. I really want to know what our stock market's going to look like when they open on Monday. Like, have the markets priced this in yet? Did people really think this was going to happen? Will this affect literally every aspect of the economy or just certain sectors? If you think that China is an important trading partner, Mexico and China, or I'm sorry, Mexico and Canada together, I think are like 6 times the amount of trade that we do with China. And we tariffed China as well. So even China has been tariffed as well, just 10% though instead of 25%. Like the total trade we do with Canada is, I'm sorry, I exaggerated a little bit. But Canada and Mexico together is going to be twice as much as China. And China was tariffed too. So we don't know what the retaliatory tariffs are. And for the European Union as well. Like, so yeah, these are huge trading partners. These will affect every single part. These will affect every single part of the country. It was never about money also. It was never, ever, ever about, it was never about money, and it was never about the cost of eggs. It was never about the economy. Like, how will the right try to spin this in a positive way? The right doesn't exist in this fucking country. They don't have to spin it because they don't exist. It'll be Russian bots spinning it, and then it'll be Russian paid people like Charlie Kirk or Tim Pool or Tulsi Gabbard and RFKs and government or Jack Posobiec or like all of these people are going to be the ones leading that who are going to say it's based and awesome because Trump can do no wrong. And then audience captured losers like the Daily Wire. How fucking stupid are we? Also, keep in mind, the whole reason why any of the people who barely held on to any amount of intellectual honesty whatsoever, only reason why they supported Trump is because, well, he wouldn't actually do this. And now he has done it. So now what are they going to say? Is Ben Schwartz going to go, okay, maybe the guardrails, maybe he actually came with a bulldozer this time. The guardrails aren't holding. Or maybe this is actually really bad. Like, what the fuck? And throw in the Young Turks there as well, because those guys. How do tariffs on both sides affect the average Joe? It just means the cost of everything goes up. You're not going to maybe notice it as much because companies are going to try to hedge against it as much as possible by firing people or cutting services or cutting the quality or whatever as much as they can. But prices on basically every single thing in this country will go up. Cars, like even Project 2025 already said that prices have probably gone up. This is even Project 2025, okay? This is before Trump was in office. We are 5 years into the biggest experiment with tariffs since the Great Depression. The results are in. The new tariffs raise consumer prices for ordinary Americans by about $1,200 per household every year and benefit only a small number of special interests. That's what tariffs do. Does Canada putting tariffs on the U.S. affect the U.S.? Yes. When Canada puts tariffs on the United States, what that means is that when somebody is exporting something from the U.S. to Canada, a Canadian has to pay an import tax on that thing. So in effect, it doesn't mean that they're going to pay the import tax. What it actually means is they're just going to order it from some other place. So if I could buy it for $10 from the United States, or I could ship it from Europe for $11, and now I've got a 25% import tax on the US good, it's not that I'm going to buy less from the US, and it's not that I'm going to buy the same and pay a 25% import. I'm just not going to buy from the US, and I'm going to shift all of my consumption over to Europe. So then it hurts our export market, which hurts our domestic markets, which also hurt. Tariffs are just fucking horrible. It's just bad. It's just bad. Tariffs are just not good for your economy. It's like, it's just the worst thing you could do.
You see the simple-mindedness of this guy? Tariffs are just bad. They're just bad. They're terrible. They're just bad. Tariffs bad. Orange man bad. Tariffs bad. Orange man bad. You know, that is destiny logic right there for you. I mean, this guy just cannot handle the fact that Trump may be onto something here with his tariffs. Now, what's really interesting is Destiny is trying to argue that tariffs are bad because they increase the price of goods and services, which, you know, Destiny never really seemed to care about inflation historically. I mean, historically, the government was spending way too much money, which was causing inflation, which was causing things to get more expensive. But whenever he was asked about, like, reducing government spending, he would always really push back on the idea of reducing spending at all. So that is how you know Destiny is not being consistent in his arguments here. The only consistency he has is whatever Trump does, literally whatever Trump does, not literally, but for the most part, whatever Trump does, whatever he says he wants to do, whatever policy he has, Destiny will say it's bad and we should do the opposite. That's really his only like North Star. That is how he makes his decisions. What did Trump say? Oh, let's do the opposite. 'Cause whatever Trump does must be absolutely terrible. But anyway, I think the average person is getting, like, who voted for Trump, I think they're getting exactly what they wanted maybe even more than what they wanted. I mean, I think Trump so far in his second term, is just knocking it out of the park. He is moving at like breathtaking speed, pushing his agenda through. And I think we are going to see some really fantastic results in the coming months and coming years in terms of how the economy performs, especially how it performs for the average person. So anyway, comment down below in terms of what you think of this Destiny video where he's melting down over Trump and his tariffs against Canada and the apparently just started trade war between United States and Canada. So again, comment down below in terms of what you think. Obviously, it is a very heated topic, so you guys may see this very differently than me. You may be very anti-tariffs. I mean, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if some of you in the comments are anti-tariffs, but overall, I think most Trump supporters are getting what they asked for, which was Trump to restore the U.S. economy, even if it does bother some people like Destiny. So anyways, comment down below, smash that like button and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.